Hi, today we're going to look at how to replace the toner cartridge locks. We're going to skim through the areas that are currently in the service manual and look at more detail on those that aren't in the service manual. We're going to also work with the service note that's currently out available for you too, so refer to that if you've got any additional questions. And there are instructions in the box with the kit. First of all, we're going to remove the toner cartridges and the ETB. And now we're going to remove the right cover. And now for the duplex models, I want to point out that you want to remove the wires to the duplex fan in the front cover. So there's instructions in the service manual. This is a simplex model, so we don't have the duplex fan that's right here, but we're talking in this area. The next thing we're going to do is unplug several connectors on the driver PCA and remove the wires from the cable harness. So next we're going to remove the interlock switch assembly by removing one screw, attaching it to the chassis, and be aware of the clip at the top and the alignment knob when removing the assembly. Now we're going to remove the bottom cable harness. There's one screw at the top to remove, and there's a hint: when you reinstall the guide, make sure that the rear locking tab is seated in the sheet metal chassis. This is noted in the service manual also. It may be necessary to disconnect the white door latch from the front door. Now we're going to remove the main drive assembly. There are 6 screws attaching the main drive assembly to the chassis. Carefully note the locations of the screws to be removed. So when you take out the main drive assembly, this part, which is right above the driver PC board, may come off. That's fine. It clips easily back in. So what we just did is we're removing the metal case by removing the 2 screws, and then remove the white link arm. Now this is where we're going to remove the white slide lever by pushing down from the top to release it from the 2 tabs. Then carefully remove the lever by pulling out. Be aware that 4 springs are attached to this lever in the individual cartridge locks. Now once the sliding lever has been removed, the cartridge locks can be accessible. Let me point these out to you. So these are the 4 cartridge locks. The new grounding springs are not on the cartridge locks and will need to be attached. We'll look at the current springs on the machine for guidance and at the instructions in the service manual. Make sure to feed the hooked end through the hole at the end of the lock to begin with. Attach one end of the 4 springs to the white slide lever and install the lever back into the machine. We'll attach the other end of the spring later on. Place the white slide lever so the 2 metal tabs are in place, then adjust all the black cartridge locks to be under the tabs on the white slide lever. Bend the top of the white slide lever out to put the top black cartridge lock in place. Slide the white slide lever up when all black cartridge locks are in place. Lock the white slide lever in place by installing the metal case and white plastic piece. Make sure to insert the flange of the sheet metal in the slot on the sheet metal and place the white shaft in the white slide lever. Reconnect the white arm to put tension on the white slide lever. It may be helpful to hold the cartridge lock in place while putting the spring on the end of it. When removing the main drive assembly, these 2 gears, this one and this one, may be removed with the main drive assembly. That's fine. When it's time to put the main drive assembly back in, reassemble it, go ahead and take these gears off and place them here and here, and I'll show you how to do the timing with that. We need to move the ETB guide to the up or vertical position to help with the removing and reinstalling of the main drive assembly. Make sure the gears are aligned properly before installing the main drive assembly. The 4 large gears should be in approximate line. The top 2 large gears have an oval hole that aligns with the triangle stamped on the sheet metal. The 2 small gears to the right, they may fall off when removing the MDA, main drive assembly, align with the 3 large bottom gears. Notice the 2 holes on each of the small gears align with the small holes of the large gears. If this procedure has been properly followed, in the back of the printer you will see the 4 white cams that control the movement of developers. On the top and bottom shafts, you can see a black plastic part that has a flag associated with it. The top flag is for the black cartridge. The bottom flag is for all the color cartridges. Also note that the white cams are at all different degrees of rotation. This reduces the force required to drive the motors when turning the cams. Metal shafts should be oriented with the empty space downwards. Next, prepare the main drive assembly for installation. 2 areas must be checked. Make sure that all the white shafts are pushed to the right, clockwise, when the main drive assembly is oriented as shown. The shafts are aligned correctly now. Note that the shafts are aligned with the second etch mark on each side. Here's the first, here's the second, and they're aligned with the second mark. First, second, first, second, first, second. Next, pay attention to these 2 gears on the left, this one and this one. They could have been moved during handling of the main drive assembly by accident. If this happens, 1 or more of the color planes could be missed during printing. The gear on the top controls the black cartridge. The gear on the bottom controls all 3 color cartridges. Remember, it's important that the ETB guides are in the up position to make installation of the main drive assembly smooth. Check to see if they are properly aligned as follows. This and this will both have a hole showing if the gear is in alignment, as will this and this, this and this, this and this. Another quick check would be to make certain this hole and this hole are there. So if these gears are out of alignment, rotate the top gear until you can see the holes through the alignment areas. You'll feel some slight resistance as you're doing this. Now they're aligned. Again, this and this, this and this, this and this. With the gears in alignment, install the main drive assembly. Start at the left, inserting the main drive assembly into the metal slots and rotate it into position. Place a screw in the upper right corner of the main drive assembly to help keep it in place if the main drive assembly doesn't fit flush when first installing it. This gives access with both hands to jiggle it into place. At this point, reassemble according to the service manual. This will have the printer back up and running. Remember to correctly thread the cables through the wire harnesses properly. Note, the connector to the top cover is different between the simplex and duplex models. The duplex has a larger connector, while the simplex is much smaller. If you experience any issues after installing the cartridge locks, please refer to the service note in terms of how to correct them.